The 5 Elements of Effective Thinking by Edward Berger and Michael are on the correct, and therefore the authors say that extraordinary people are just ordinary people that think differently about excellent students and outstanding innovators who make their own victories by practicing the habits of thinking that inevitably carry them step by step into great works. There are 5 habits puzzling over this book, if practiced, will constantly lead you to penetrate into the ideas that the authors made 4 of the 5 unforgettable thinking habits by relating them to the 4 classic elements that were thought to be the essence of nature and therefore the substance of the world: fire, air and water. Once you face a fancy challenge at work or in school, you'll integrate the weather of fireside, ground, air and water into your thinking to search out innovative solutions and be simpler. Let me explain how the primary element is that the earth and also the lever element of the planet divides problems into its basic components, its basic factors, etc. so as to grasp each of those components. Get within the habit of asking yourself, well, what are the subcomponents of this problem? I would like to be told more about creating a mind map for every problem that divides the matter into different areas of information that you simply have to study. If you've got an issue with procrastination, don't search for an answer quick. Instead, try and understand the matter thorough, and right after I procrastinate within the middle of a blank sheet of paper, then project the assorted factors that cause procrastination, like distraction, lack of motivation and feeling overwhelmed. Then aim for a deep understanding of every of those factors as you embrace earthly thinking through acquisition, strong understanding of fundamental factors and basic components, which increases the chances of finding an efficient solution to the present problem but also increases your ability to unravel more complex problems within the future. Within the example of procrastination, if you acquire it with deep motivation, you may not only understand the way to motivate yourself within the future, but it'll also increase your ability to resolve people's problems, like how am I able to motivate my team to try and do more work? You'll be able to consider ground-based thinking, like gaining a deep understanding of basic math principles in order that you'll solve advanced calculus problems in future. Element number 2, air. In 1905, Albert Einstein asked himself a crazy question: what if you ride a beam of sunshine? Einstein adopted the attitude of an individual who could move at the speed of sunshine and did so. He realized that by moving at the speed of sunshine, the electromagnetic field of the ray of sunshine that he was riding, it might appear steady, sort of a frozen wave, because the physical theories at the time said that this was simply unattainable. So Einstein decided to come back up along with his own theory, the idea of Einstein's theory of relativity, a theory that revolutionized the sphere of physics. Einstein embraced the element of air in his thinking by kicking off with a change perspective questions that appear to be out of nullity. Among these were: what if I learned that asking if I'm after I encounter a controversy often reveals simple solutions to complex problems that you love? Neuter: what if I'm a curious kid who knows nothing about this problem? I find this question prompts me to look at an issue as a whole beginner and test all of my assumptions. Another good question is: what if I used to be an expert and this was actually easy? It made me stop struggling plenty and appearance for more neat solution. I find this a good question after I feel overwhelmed by a controversy. Successful entrepreneurs often ask if I'll buy my product. This question, it prompts them to adopt the customer's point of view and note the points of friction in their buying model that they will fix to urge more sales. To begin utilizing the element of air in solving your problem, ask what if you create seemingly new perspectives from the skinny air. Element number 3, when attempting to create the famous light bulb, discoverer said, I didn't fail, I just found 10,000 methods which will not work. The authors explained that there's a giant difference between failure and failure poorly produced, and quitting smoking isn't helpful, but failure and asking yourself, what exactly went wrong and the way I can do better, is one amongst the foremost effective ways to realize insights and illuminate the pathway. If you are doing a practice test before the massive math test, magnify your mistakes and find the questions you bought wrong. It is extremely effective thanks to determine what you wish to review next, and to be told to embrace the element of fireplace in your thinking by trying to find ways during which you'll be able to test yourself and make many mistakes, then learn from them, because paradoxical mistakes cause the success of. Element number 4, water. When he thought of water, think about it, tsunami. And a tsunami doesn't start as an enormous wave, but rather begins as a ripple within the water. Then this small wave then forms and accumulates until the tsunami becomes strong. The event of the tsunami is an iterative process. So for our great achievements within the book, the authors explained that on May 25, 1961, John F. Kennedy set a target to land a person on the moon. But on May 26 the National Space Council wasn't an honest acceptable an astronaut. Instead the primary goal was simply to hit the moon with a missile. After 3 years of steady progress, NASA succeeded in smashing Ranger 7 into the moon. Then it took 15 major iterations before NASA could launch Apollo 11 and successfully land a person on the moon. The best authors within the world will tell you that their first draft may be a complete crap, but they always find something small, maybe just some paragraphs they will build upon through the building progressively on what succeeds in turning the primary draft into a bestseller over the course of the many reviews. Any breakthrough or solution are the results of a rough idea. An honest idea becomes better through iteration because the author refines his promising first draft when faced with an issue that has embraced the element of water through striving to create a little amount of progress initially, like a little ripple within the water, so gradually building thereon to form strong ground. Air fires from it. Tsunami and water are the four tangible elements, but the fifth element is the element that produces the opposite four elements possible, and therefore the authors explain that in Hellenic language philosophy it had been the quintessential element is that the unchanging substance from which an extraterrestrial world was made. Returning the unchanging fifth element ironically changes itself. Once you consider the quintessential element, think about the rising phoenix as a logo of transformation and alter. Take a look at the opposite four elements won't facilitate you much unless you're willing to alter your thinking. While most of the people think that I'm who I cannot change my ways, effective thinkers believe that I'm constantly evolving. I'm a lifelong learner. Embrace the essential element by believing that you simply can change your thoughts and beliefs and your habits if you finally opt to do so when facing a difficult problem. Profit of the five elements. The profit of the world component by dividing the matter and gaining an understanding strong for its basic components and basic factors. Then profit of the error component by asking if you begin to adopt new perspectives. The fireplace element by taking a little risk and embracing the errors. Enhances the water element by building gradually towards penetration, and at last to do the position of change, and therefore the identity of the lifelong learner to require advantage of the core element. That was the most message you gathered from the five elements of effective thinking. This book could be a great tool to assist you eliminate problems when learning to difficulty. We try to unravel a difficult problem. If you prefer this video, please share it. Thanks for watching.